Okay, so now from this video, we will start making an ice cream using callback. So now you can just see that in here, there are like several steps involved in making an ice cream. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to form the connection between all these steps because these steps are actually interconnected with each other and cannot be executed without each other. So what we're going to do is that we're going to form connection between all these functions, all these steps using callback. So for the ice cream business, we first of all need to form the connection between us and the customer. Like for example, we first of all need to get the order from the customer, and only then we're gonna fetch the ingredients and start the production. Because the production cannot be started before the order, and once the production is done, we can then serve the ice cream. So for this, we're gonna make two functions: the order function and then the production function. And we obviously need to form the connection between the order and production function because, as I told you, that the production cannot start before the order. So let's just form the connection using the callback. So let me just minimize it. And now in here, what I'm going to do is that obviously, I first of all need to make the order function, and this order function will be my arrow function. So this one is going to be my arrow function, and then what I'm going to do is that I will just create another function, and this one is going to be my production function, and this one is going to be an arrow function as well. So this one is going to be my arrow function, and yeah. Okay, so now in the order function, once this function is called, means that the order is actually has been placed. So right in here, what I'm going to do is that I will just say that console.log. I will just say that order placed, please call the production. Okay, so the order has been placed. Now you're going to call the production. So what we can do is that when the order is placed, we can call the production function inside of this function, which is my callback. So for this, I need to pass this function as an argument to this function. So right in here, I will just call the order, but I will just pass the production function as an argument to this function order. And now in here, it will be received, let's just say in this variable called production. And once the order has been placed, I'm going to call the production. So in here, I'm going to call this function call production. And since we need to call it, so we actually need these two round brackets. Okay, so what's going to happen once this function is actually called? So this function will actually start the production. So right in here, what I will just do is that I will just say that console.log. I will just say that, okay, the order received starting the production, because once the order has been received, this function is just going to start the production. Okay, so let me just first of all explain this code before I actually execute it. So I'm actually calling this function, but with this function, I'm actually passing this function as an argument to this function, which will be received in this variable call production. So once the order is placed in here, this function is going to be called. So it will just say that order placed, please call the production. And after executing this line of code, we're going to call the production because the order has now been placed, and this function will actually receive that order, and it will say, okay, I now have received the order. I'm now actually starting the production. Okay, so yeah, this was pretty simple, keeping in view that we have done a pretty simple example in the previous video. Okay, so now let's just execute this code by actually executing this script, but first of all, actually saving it and then running it. Okay, so it is just saying that order has been placed, please call the production, and then it is saying, okay, order received, starting the production. Okay, so let's just continue making this ice cream. So while making an ice cream, we have a kitchen in which we're going to make this ice cream, and then we have a storeroom where different types of things like fruits, liquid stuff, machinery, chocolate, and other raw materials are placed on our stock. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a variable in which I'm going to store all my stocks, and let's just create this variable right here at the top. And I'm going to name this variable as stocks. You just name it anything you want, and this will be an object which will contain different things. And then the first thing it will contain is actually the type of fruits. So on our stock we will have different types of fruits, so it will be an array of fruits. And let's just say that we have strawberry, and then we have grapes, and then we have, let's just say, banana, and then let's just say we have apple. Okay, now the next thing that we will have is the type of liquid that the user wants. So let's just say that there are two types of liquids. The first one is water, and then the second one is ice. Okay, and then the third one we will have is, let's say, the type of holder. We will have different types of holders available. So let's just say that we will have three types of holders. The first one will be corn, the second one will be cup, like this. It is actually inside a single quotation mark, so cup, and then the third one will be the stick holder. Okay, and then the other thing that we will have is actually toppings. And let's just say that we have different types of toppings. The user have the option to have chocolate on his ice cream topping, and then the user have an option of having peanuts on his ice cream. Okay, so these are all the stocks that are available in our storeroom. And now in here, let's just say that while ordering, the user select any kind of fruit right here. So it will actually go inside the order function. So while calling this function, in here, we will just pass the fruit name that the user actually has selected. So it will be receiving this variable fruit name. So fruit name. So I'm actually passing to this order function the first argument. I'm going to pass basically the type of the fruit name that the user has selected from our stock, and then from our fruit list. And then I'm actually basically passing this production function. So in here, when I'm calling it, I need to pass it right here. Okay, so notice here that the customer might take some time while selecting all these things. He might have a hard time choosing either he wants a strawberry ice cream or a grapes ice cream, banana or apple ice cream. And then let's just say that so actually it will actually take time in selecting from all these things. And in here, let me just show you this time function. So in here, we have assumed that let's just say that placing the order will take 2 seconds. Now in reality, it actually takes more time, but for learning purposes, we can assume that placing the order takes 2 times, means that it will take 2 seconds for the user to select from all these things. And let's just say that for simplicity purposes, we can only assume that the user will take 2 seconds to select from this fruit list. So in here, let's just say that the user has selected the strawberry, which is so this one is at index number, strawberry is at index number 0 inside this fruit array. So in here, we're gonna pass 0. So now, as I told you that the order will take 2 seconds. So now let me just first of all get rid of this thing from here, and let me just get rid of this thing from here. So now in order to manage time, we're gonna basically use the set timeout function that we have used before. And now in here, I'm gonna basically call this asynchronous built-in JavaScript function called the set timeout function. And now in here, first of all, I'm gonna pass an arrow function. And now since the ordering of food will take 2 seconds, so in here I need to pass this time in millisecond, which actually means 2 seconds. Okay, now inside this set timeout function, and then inside this arrow function that we have inside this set timeout function, I'm gonna basically say that since I have this thing inside, I'll just say that first of all, I'll just say that console.log, and then console.log, I'm gonna basically print out the fruit that the user has selected. In our case, we have assumed that the user has selected this fruit, strawberry. So in here, because in here we have passed 0, so this strawberry is at index number 0. So I'm going to first of all say that it is actually inside my, since it is inside my the stock object, so stocks, and then in the stocks we are actually talking about fruits, and then for fruits we are actually talking about this 0 index number, this first index which is at index number, this first fruit which is at index number 0, and we have passed 0 right from here, and it is actually receiving this variable fruit name. So in here we just need to type the fruit name. Okay, so now we're going to basically see this thing in action, but just notice here that it just takes 2 seconds for the user to basically select from these a list of fruits. Okay, so now just save it, and now let me just execute it. So right in here I'm going to execute it, so not, and then the name of this file, which is script.js, and make sure that you save it. Okay, so it will take 1-2 seconds, and now it is actually printing out the strawberry on the console screen. Well, let's just make it more sensible. So in here, I'm going to use this backtick case. Oops, not like this. So I'm going to use this backtick case here, and then I'm going to have this dollar symbol, and then I will have these curly brackets right in here, and now I'm going to say that the strawberry was selected by the customer, or you can just leave it as it is. Okay, so now let's just execute it once again, and now after 1-2 seconds it is saying that the user has selected this strawberry food. Okay, so now we are actually calling after 2 seconds. We are actually, so after 2 seconds, inside this order function, we are also calling this call production function as well. So inside this call production function, let's just put it inside the set timeout function as well. And in here, the first thing I need to pass is the arrow function. And let's just say that it will just take 0 seconds to start the production. So in here, inside the arrow function, I'm going to say that console.log here, and now let's say that order received starting the production. Okay, so now just save it, and now if we just execute it here, you're going to basically see a trick. So let's just execute, and in here you're just seeing that order has been received, and it's starting the production, and then it is saying strawberry was selected. Means that the production has started before the strawberry has been selected. This is because this line of code was executed first, and then it is saying strawberry was selected. So for the user who's actually seeing this output, will say that this code is absolutely wrong, because he will just say that how can the production be started before the strawberry type of ice cream was selected. Okay, and this is because we're actually seeing this output because now here I actually need to explain this whole code, because it is very important for you to understand. Okay, so in here, once I actually call this order function, and then when JavaScript actually see this set timeout function, it looks that it will actually take 2 seconds for this basically for this function to execute. So what JavaScript will do, since it is an asynchronous function, so what JavaScript will do is that it will actually take basically this whole thing, this whole set timeout function, and then will put it in a separate thread, but it will still be the part of this whole, basically this whole process, but it will be executed separately as a separate thread. So now this thing will take 2 seconds to be executed while the main thread is still running. So this one is actually executing in a separate lane, while this one will be called, because this is actually still in the main lane. Because this one is actually outside my set timeout function. So this will continue to run in the main lane. And since it is taking 2 seconds, so before 2 seconds, JavaScript execute, call this function, call production, and since it is taking 0 seconds, so it actually executed immediately before 2 seconds, and that is why in here we have this thing printed out first. And once after 2 seconds, this small thread actually reports back to the main thread, and then the main thread actually prints out this thing that you are seeing right here on your console screen. So I hope it is actually making sense. Now, how we actually will get rid of this problem? Well, just think about it for a minute. Just pause this video and just think about it for a minute. It is actually pretty simple. You just have to be a little bit smart to get rid of this problem. So just think about it, pause this video and think about it. Okay, so what we can do is that we can actually simply actually cut this thing right from here and then paste it inside the set timeout function where we have this arrow function. So in here, we're going to basically paste it, and now this call production actually becomes the part of this set timeout function. So when JavaScript will see the set timeout function, it's gonna actually take it to a separate thread, and to the separate and then this call production will also be the part of this small thread. So first of all, after 2 seconds, it will first of all execute this thing, and then the small main thread will actually execute this line of code by calling this function call production, and then it will actually print out this thing, and then we'll print out the result. Okay, now let's just see the result now. So let me just execute node, and then first of all, you need to make sure that you save it. And now after 2 seconds, it's first of all saying that strawberry was selected, and once strawberry was selected, it's saying that order received. And now it is actually starting the production. Okay, so I hope that it is actually making sense. Just know that this call production is now the part of this asynchronous JavaScript function set timeout, and that is why it is actually taking 2 seconds to execute basically these 2 lines of code. And the next step after receiving the order is to start the production. And then the first step in the production is to actually, let me just show you, is to first of all chop the fruit, and say that it will actually take 2 seconds to chop the fruit. So we're going to add another set timeout function, and we're going to tell that basically I'm just giving you 2 seconds to chop the fruits. So now let me just minimize, and now you need to make sure that you just add that set timeout function inside the arrow function of the set timeout function, because if you just add that set timeout function outside the set timeout function, then what you're going to do is that it's going to basically start the production before strawberry was selected, as you have seen previously. So right in here, you need to make sure that you just add the set timeout function right here. So I'm going to add set timeout, and in here, the first thing is obviously my arrow function. So my arrow function right in here, and then in here, it is actually taking 2 seconds to chop the fruits. So right in here, I will just say that it will just take 2 seconds, and then in here, I'll just say that console.log, and after 2 seconds, the fruit will be chopped. So I'm going to just add the statement right here and just say that the fruits has been chopped. Okay, so now let me just execute this code, but notice here that once it comes to this production function, we are actually calling this production function inside the order function. So once you actually call this production function, first of all, it will actually take this set timeout function, and since this set timeout function will take 0 seconds to start the production, so we're gonna see this thing immediately on our screen because it is actually taking 0 seconds. While this set timeout function, so after this line of code, it will again see this set timeout function, which is a built-in asynchronous JavaScript function. So it will just see that, okay, I need to take 2 seconds to print this thing on my console screen. So again, after this line of code, it will take 2 seconds to print this thing on my console screen, in which I'm just saying the fruit has been chopped. Okay, so just save your script, and now let's just execute it right here. So script.js, hit enter, and it would first of all take 2 seconds for the user to decide strawberry has been selected, and then it just print this thing immediately because this set timeout function is taking 0 seconds to print this thing on my console screen. And then this set timeout function, which is actually inside of this set timeout function, is actually taking 2 seconds for the fruits to be chopped. So we're actually seeing this thing after 2 seconds. Okay, now the next thing in preparing this ice cream is to add water and ice. So right in here, after the food has been chopped, we're gonna add another set timeout function because it is taking some time to add water and ice. So set timeout function, and the first thing we need to pass is basically our arrow function. So arrow function, and then the next step. So say that it will take 1 second to add water and ice to our ice cream. So in here I will just type here 1000, which actually mean 1 second. Okay, now right in here I will just say that console.log, and in here I'll just use this backtick case because in here I just need to render something, and then $, and then these brackets, and since inside my stock, you're going to see that we have two types of liquids available, water and ice, and I actually need to add both of these things to my ice cream, which is actually in my stock object, and then this array liquid, and then water is at index number 0, and then this ice is at index number 1. So first of all, I'll just say stocks.liquid, and here I'll just do it. So stocks.liquids, and then the first thing I will add is basically this thing, and then I will just say that and the other thing I need to add is basically again inside my stocks dot liquids, and then this one is at index number 1. I'll just say that has been added, and just remember that it will take 1 second to add water and ice to the ice cream. Okay, so now we can execute this code once again, but first of all you need to make sure that you save it and just execute. Okay, so first of all it will take 2 seconds, and then production will start immediately, and after 2 seconds the food will be chopped, and then after 1 second water and ice will be added to the ice cream. Okay, now let's just see what is the next step. So the next step is to start the machine. So starting the machine will take 1 second. So let's do it. So right in here, after water and ice has been added, we're gonna add another set timeout function. So let's say that it's not set interval function, set timeout, and here we'll just add this arrow function. So arrow function, and then say that it will take 1 second to start the machine, and then I will just say that console.log, and I will just say that the machine has been started. And yeah, that's all I need to do for this thing. So just remember that it will take 1 second to start the machine, and now we can actually save our script once again and execute it. So let's just run it, and it will just take 2 seconds, and then production will start immediately, water and ice has been added, and the machine has been started as well. Okay, so let's see what is the next step. The next step is to actually select the container. So we actually have basically for the container. Okay, so right in here, let's just add this container as well. Let me just scroll it down. Okay, so after the machine has been started, we're gonna add another set timeout function, and basically selecting the container will take 2 seconds as well. So in here I'm gonna add another set timeout function. I'll just say that set timeout, and then the first thing I need to pass is basically an arrow function. So this arrow function, and it is actually taking how many seconds? Let's just see, it's taking 2 seconds to select the container. So in here I will just add 2 seconds. Okay, and now in here I'll just say that console.log, and in here what I'm going to do is that in here I will just say that the holder, basically container actually means holder. Let's just say that I will just select this one, cone, but you can select cup or stick or whatever you want, but I will just select cone, which is inside my stock object, and then this array holder, and then this cone is at index number 0. So right in here I will just say that right in here I'll just again use this backtick case, and I will just say that ice cream placed on holder, and then I need to basically use this dollar and then this thing, and then stocks dot holder, And then since I'm just selecting the cone, so in here I just need to type 0. So ice cream placed on holder cone. Okay, so it will just take 2 seconds to place ice cream on this cone holder. Okay, so now just save your script and run it once again to see if it's actually working or not. And first of all, taking 2 seconds, food has been chopped, water has been added, machine has been started, and it is saying that ice cream has been placed on holder cone. Okay, so now let's just see what is the next step. And then the next step, let me just show you this time function. The next step is to select the topping. So say that for the toppings, you can see that we have multiple types of toppings. We have either chocolate topping or we can have peanuts, but let's just say I will just select this chocolate. So again, this is inside my stock object, and then there's array topping, and then this one is at index number 0. So in here, immediately after I just placed this thing on cone holder, I'll just add another set timeout function. So set timeout, and the first thing I need to pass is basically my arrow function, and then say that how many seconds it is taking. Let's just see, it would be taking 3 seconds to select this topping. So 3 seconds, and then I'm going to basically show it on my console screen. So console.log, and again I need to use this backtick keys, and then this dollar, and then these brackets, and then stocks dot toppings, and say that it's at index number 0 as topping. Okay, so yeah, that's it, and let's just do it let's just do the final step as well, which is serving the ice cream, which will take 2 seconds as well. So after the topping is actually been selected, then the final step is to actually serve the ice cream to the customer. So again, it will take some time, so that's why actually we need to use the set timeout function. So set timeout, and then first thing we need to pass is basically this arrow function, and it will take 2 seconds to serve the ice cream. So in here I will just say that console dot log and serve the ice cream. Yeah, that's all we need to be doing. And now let's just save it and let's just execute it for the last time, because our ice cream has been prepared completely, and let's just see if it's working fine or not. First of all, it will take 2 seconds for the customer to select strawberry, and then the production will start immediately. Then 2 seconds to chop the food, 1 second to chop to add water and ice cream, 1 second to start the machine, 3 seconds, 2 seconds to place ice cream on holder cone, and then chocolate as topping, and then 1 second to serve the ice cream. Okay, so our ice cream has been prepared. It has been prepared 100% using callbacks, and now in the next video I'm going to basically show you something which is actually a kind of problem with callback, and what is actually called callback hell. So I'm going to teach you what actually callback hell in the next video.